look for a pretty wide open game. Both teams like to huck it a little bit. Could be a long game. Hopefully there'll be a lot of great catches and a very entertaining game. Health-wise, we will not suit Thomas Vazorka, our left guard. He's banged up. We will not suit Kurt Parster. Will not go. And obviously Nick Beckman's not available. Almost everybody else is up and running and ready to go. Probably as healthy as we've been in a long time at this point in the season.
What did you get out of watching the tape, Mike, from Eastern and Montana on Saturday? Are they doing anything differently, or are they basically the same as they've been the last few years?
Well, I think the quarterback's really good, and they play really well in the first quarter. I mean, they really, really play. If you look at their numbers in the first quarter throughout the season, they've just been outstanding in the first quarter. And I think if you can hold the fort in the first quarter and drive the second quarter, then this thing can be anybody's ballgame once you play down the road. So we got to survive the first quarter.
Offensively, how do you bounce back?
One touchdown's not going to win a lot of ball games for you. I don't care who you play. What we're not doing very well is we're not catching the ball. It just seems like even if you go back to the Northern Colorado game, which we opened up with a huge drop, we have not caught the ball the way we need to catch the ball all season long. And that's in contrast to Eastern Washington, who's catching the ball extremely well all the time. In fact, I've gone back to the last 3 ball games. I can't see one play that I would consider a pass drop. Yet I can go back through us and I can find 31 drops in 3 games. So again, for us, it's a matter of catching the ball better and making the catch that people go ooh at, rather than always have to be wide open and then get run after the catch. And that happened to us again last Saturday. We threw a fade ball to Cam Richmond down the right sideline, and it hits him right in the helmet, and he drops it. And that's the 3rd game in a row he's had one hit him in the helmet and not make the catch. So again, for us, as an offense, not only is our rushing game now evaporated, we'd have to call Northern Colorado a false summit. And I said it right here, didn't I? Didn't I say it? I said, I hope this is not a false summit. I'm a mountaineer, and I love climbing. And it's very, very disappointing as a mountaineer to near the top of the mountain and see the top of the hill and find out that that's not the top of the hill. So our running game's got to come back to us.
You talked, Mike, about the issues with catching the football. Is that more mental right now? Is there a physical problem? How would you assess that?
I think all catching the ball is all mental. I think it starts from the first time your mom or your dad throw you an underhand soft toss and you learn how to catch your bottle. You know, it's something you know how to do or you're not good at all the time. So it's concentration, it's practice, it's coaching, it's putting you in a position to be able to catch an advanceable ball, it's quarterbacking. There's a lot of facets involved, and if you contrast our malaise at catching the ball versus how well Eastern's playing, not only is their quarterback throwing the ball well, he's throwing a catchable ball, and they're catching the ball. So it's a good combination. It's they're not the way they are right now for no reason at all. I think they're just an excellent job of not only coaching their quarterbacks but coaching their wideouts.
Defensively, how do you try and slow them down?
Well, you can't. You know, I mean, they've scored over 30 points in all their Big Sky games, and so what we want to do is obviously make them go long field, and that has a lot to do with our offense and our kicking game. And I'm very proud of where we're at in our kicking game now. Although our little goofy punt last week with Arias punting the ball turned out to be a Wilson football on the back of our offensive right guard. So, but we've got to make them go long field. Make them go long field and be patient and let them hurt themselves. The other thing about a spread offense, even like we are, we always know that even if they get a good lead, eventually they don't know how to protect the lead, and you can always reel them back in, i.e., which is what Montana did last week.
Coach, your team seems to play really well at home and not so well on the road. Is that the youth? What do you attribute that to?
Just the general condition of the program. You know, we're in our 3rd year. The first year it was destruction. The second year was demolition. The 3rd year is excavation. The 4th year is construction. So we're still building a foundation. It has nothing to do with where we play. It's how we play.
Are you more nervous about Eastern or Game 6?
Well, yeah, I'm a little more nervous about Game 6 tonight. I'm more nervous about Halloween. I want to make sure we get through Halloween unscathed, and then obviously a great game on Saturday. But no, I'm not really nervous even about our game against Eastern Washington. They're a very good team. They're very well coached. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're playing exceptional at quarterback and wide receiver. It's a fun game for us to play in. We're built for this defensively. We're built for this offensively. So it's a great matchup for us.
Mentally, this team had given up by this time last year, in my opinion.
My favorite numbers compared this year to last year is 72 and 24. Anybody want to guess what those numbers were referring to?
Points allowed,
Yeah,
points
points allowed.
scored.
Touchdowns allowed last year 72. At this point, after 8 games, 24. 72 and 24. I'd say that's significant.
If the season ended today, would that be the number that you would hang? That was our success this year.
Oh, I don't think that we'll ever come close to it unless they score 15 touchdowns in 3 games. I mean, we're going to be pretty good at making dramatic statistical scoring improvement in one season. So, we were coming out of a Big Sky game in which we gave up 1 touchdown, and traditionally you usually win those kind of games. So I'm proud of where we're at defensively. We have risen a long ways. We still have miles to go, which is why we're still in the excavation stage of what we're trying to build here.
Coach, you told me on Saturday that was about as bad as your defense could play. Now that you've looked at the tape, do you still feel the same way, or are there any other thoughts?
It's just more frustrating in the fact that we just keep giving up 3rd downs to a wide receiver playing quarterback, and that's what we faced on Saturday. So my hat's off to the Southern Utah coaching staff that took a guy deep on the depth chart in September and turned him into a game winner on Saturday at quarterback, and that's good coaching on their part. And it's a failure by our defense to get off the field against a guy that's not very experienced at quarterback. And obviously, the tables have turned. This week we face a quarterback that's extremely veteran for only a sophomore, and a guy who's got great feet and good speed, which was eliminated last week against us. So we've got to find a way to keep that quarterback contained and not let him run around and be creative.
Mike, put yourself in the, because you've been in this situation before where you've got a heavily favored team. You look at Eastern, they played Montana, which they certainly were up for, and they got Montana State next week. This could be a trap game scenario. And from your perspective as a coach, what are you looking for from Eastern early to see if they're really into this game or if they're kind of overlooking you guys? Are there any keys or tales that you can see from the sidelines about an opposing team?
I'll just tell you one thing about Eastern Washington. Since Dick Zorns was their head coach through the 1993 season, Eastern Washington has always been daily, game in, game out, one of the most hard-minded programs in the nation. And when I became the head coach there in the 90s, I became a recipient of that hard-mindedness. Mm-hmm. Paul Wolf benefited from that hard-mindedness, and Bo Baldwin has benefited from the hard-mindedness that was set in that program a long time ago, and I don't expect them to be any less than hard-minded and determined on Saturday to be successful.
Mike, in your post-game interview with us Saturday, you talked about what happened the last time you guys played Eastern and how they kept their quarterback on the field to get a school record.
No, to get to become a nominee for the Walter Payton Award, which he won. So I guess they were successful.
Your thoughts about that?
He's turning red.
I hope the trophy's not gathering too much dust.
In terms of stopping the high Eastern Washington offense, are you going to make any changes either defensively or maybe even offensively, slowing things down, just trying to...
Yeah, we're going to try and play 11 defensive backs and ask them to not run the ball. So that's the way I favor it.
Canadian rules.
Not even Canadian rules. This was play flag football, and you have to count to 3 before you can rush, and that'd be great. No, I'll tell you what. Again, Eastern, the notoriety is a quarterback and a wideout, but the great play has been in their offensive line. Their offensive line has traditionally been the best in the conference, and they continue to show that this year. They're rising pretty good in their defensive front. Their front's always been pretty active. They've had a couple guys for national accolades over the last couple of years at defensive end. And the one thing we're making our great improvement in is our offensive front. And we're actually coming out of our best performance by our offensive line, even though we scored 1 touchdown. Justin had forever to throw last week, and unfortunately he was unable to take advantage of that situation. So he's got to play better, not under duress. We expect our offensive line, our pass protection, to be stellar again this Saturday.
Anything else for Coach?
How are you going to patch up Vazorka on the left guard?
Well, Wes Wingrove returns this week. So Wes, who started 7 games for us last year at left guard, now will become the starting left guard this week. And then we'll kick Christian at center, where he played just outstanding last week. And then Travis, of course, plays a little bit in there. And Colin Pressasetter can back up at both tackle spots. So we're very, very healthy in our offensive front, even though Vazorka's unavailable.
All right, thanks, guys.